Nitesh, thank you. Why don't you start off by telling everyone a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Thank you so much, Adam, for inviting me, to this podcast this afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. So my name's Nitesh Somani. I'm the CEO of Cara Healthcare. We are an expanding group of care homes. We now have 13 care homes, and we're looking to further expand in the coming months ahead. And it would be great to talk to you more about, what we're proud of achieving, and what we have done over the last 18 months. We've been trading for about 13 years, and we've been operating care homes for about 13 years. And but over the last 18 months, 12 months, we have rapidly expanded, taking over 8 care homes alone last year, 6 out of administration, and 2 from other providers. So 8 homes from 3 different providers, and we turned these homes around. And yeah, so that's where we are at the moment in time. We're looking forward to the journey ahead.
Yeah, it sounds fabulous. Great. Okay. So let's focus on the training academy. So, why don't you, first of all, maybe explain a little bit more about what it is?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So, if I just start with actually, why it developed, where we developed the training academy with Farm, for me, it was all to do with the culture within Cara. So for me, culture is caught, it's not taught. You can't impose the culture, you inspire it. So that's why we created the Cara Training Academy. Because when you invest in skills, you invest in confidence. When you invest in the confidence, you invest in leadership. And then when you invest in your people, you invest in success. So we decided that this is exactly what we're going to do within the Cara Training Academy. It wasn't just about training them for the day-to-day competencies such as moving and handling, or fire tests and fire skills, for example, but it was about embedding other forms of training to really inspire and empower our people. So it's not always about the perks, it is about the purpose, about the community and the connection. And that's what we're trying to really bring into the Cara Training Academy. Because when you actually truly breathe your culture, that word spreads. And that's the most powerful brand you can have.
Mm.
So, and that's how we're able to compete against our competitors, because we're able to show real people, real values, and real consistency. And we realize that you just don't keep people by paying them, but you keep them by believing in them. And quite often people look at their wage slip as a projection of growth. I've increased my salary and I've grown by X amount. But really that's a misconception, because the real growth comes in learning. The real growth comes in with the power of knowledge. So we decided that that's the thing that we're going to be able to do, within our training academy. We often talk about growing occupancy, within care homes, but we learned that the best way to grow occupancy is to start with the culture. Because when your teams believe in what they do, it shows. Families feel it. When they walk through the door, and then marketing just becomes an extension of who you are, not a campaign that you're running. So,
Mm.
and when you're developing these training academies, you then get proud moments like we do. For example, we had a 104-year-old Hilda, and on her birthday, we celebrated her birthday by her becoming a lollipop lady again. She'd worked in a village where for 30 years, where she assisted children to cross the road. And we took her back to that village again. And all those children that crossed the road came out to pay respect to her, who are now much older, and to thank her for all the hard years that she spent being a lollipop lady and
Mm.
ensuring their safety. So it was a magical moment. These are the moments that truly define success, for Cara. Because
Mm.
in care, success isn't just measured about, with profits. It is measured about your purpose, and it's
Mm.
things like this that really truly shows our success.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the training is instilled within our
Mm.
leaders. That's the true measure of a leader. It's not about how many followers we have, but how many leaders we can create.
Yeah. So if you can just to share some of these details about this training academy. So you have 700 employees in total. Is this kind of who's involved in this academy? How is it set up? How is it kind of constructed?
Yeah, so what we do is we take our training academies, so we'll go regionally and we'll do regional sessions with these
Mm.
training academies. So if we've got homes in the north, then we'll go do a
Mm.
training academy in the north. If it's in the Midlands, we'll do it in the Midlands. And
Yeah.
every time there'll there'll be different topics. So, and all of our people will attend. It's not just about registered managers, but it is also about the deputies, about the care assistants, the housekeepers, the maintenance staff. We do this training with absolutely everybody
Hmm.
because it is, I thought early in my career, I thought the leadership was about driving performance. But what I
Hmm.
realize now, it's about uplifting people.
Hmm.
Because when you uplift people, they can achieve extraordinary results. You get
Hmm.
belief, right? And that belief basically changes everything. And when those people are truly empowered, they achieve results that even they couldn't believe they could achieve. That potential basically turns into power and that belief into achievement. So, and that's when that ordinary teams like Kara then achieve extraordinary results because they believe that they can. And so the
Hmm.
training academy is very much designed towards empowering them and inspiring them to, play for them to be inspired that they can achieve the unachievable. So, we concentrate on things like building skills, not just for the work, but also for their personal lives as well. How do they overcome challenges personally and in the workplace? So it's
Yeah,
those
I
kind of
see.
things that really bring about amazing results for us.
And so everyone is involved in this academy, and you have various subjects. And as you mentioned, as I understand it, that there might be a kind of regional focus. Is the How often are these events? Are they always in person? Is there some Zoom? How do you get people to attend? Tell us a little bit more about that.
So we do it once a month at the moment in different
Hmm.
regions. So it happens twice a month, and they can attend different regions if we do have that. We also have something called Care and Share with the CEO. What I realized as we expanded rapidly, I needed to be able to understand what was happening within our homes, and the only way to be able to do this was to stay in touch with the people within the homes directly. So
Hmm.
I created something called Care and Share with the CEO.
Oh, yeah.
And that meant everybody coming onto Teams. Anybody could drop in and hold me accountable. So they could drop in and ask me questions that wasn't working so well, or issues that they had, or amazing things that their homes were doing. And that really enabled me to stay true to the ground and to the people. What that enabled me to do was really understand what people were going through. And my reason for doing the care and share was to be able to be held accountable, just as we hold accountable our housekeepers, our maintenance, our managers. I was accountable for everything that goes on in Kara. And our motto was that we will try and resolve whatever they bring to us within 24 hours. So me and my teams would work tirelessly to resolve any issues they had within 24 hours. And we held this care and share every single week. And that really helped us turn our homes around as well.
Hmm, I see. And that's like a drop-in Teams meeting. Is that how
Yes,
yeah, I see.
absolutely. Because in
Hmm.
care, when things get hard, that negativity is
Hmm.
contagious.
Yeah.
So positivity plays a huge part in what
Hmm.
we do. So when it gets negative, it's very contagious. It can spread quite rapidly. But in my opinion, so is optimism. For me,
Hmm.
that positivity creates progress. Where the pressure
Hmm.
creates paralysis, right? So we need to make sure that positivity comes into play so we can change the complete process, of that negativity and that mindset, that belief is that setback is set up for a comeback, right? So is what truly turns inadequate homes into good,
Hmm.
failing into thriving homes. So
Yeah.
that positive is absolutely key to what we do.
And the training, just going back to the training academy. So this training, is that conducted by people internal to your team? Do you bring outside specialists or experts in? How do you manage that, and how do you construct that?
So that will be by internal teams. So we might have a really strong housekeeper, for example, has done
Mm,
phenomenally well, and she'll train, other housekeepers. It could be
that's
managers
nice.
that do training with other managers. It could
Mm,
be senior teams that do that. But we also bring in external expertise to come and talk about their experiences. We also have managers and leaders from other organizations that want to talk about what they have done because they've heard about the Kara Training Academy. So it's fantastic because it's not just for the people that work within Kara. The Kara
mm.
Training Academy is for everybody within healthcare. And we invite everybody to come and share their experiences and the stories with us as we share ours with others.
Yeah, I see. And then who kind of let's say manages this training academy? Who kind of heads it and just makes sure it ticks over? Is that yourself, or is that a member of your team?
It is a member of our team that's designated solely for training and development.
Yeah.
So they organize this on a monthly basis or a weekly basis as is
Mm,
required. So it's completely separate, as I said, Adam, to the standard
yeah.
training that's required within care homes.
Yeah, I see. We were saying from the top of the show today that whether you are a single care home or whether you are a group, this same idea can come into play. So someone heads it, makes sure as it runs smoothly, and
Yes,
it can be implemented and have the value that you're communicating here, whatever
absolutely.
the size.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think what I said is what I liked as soon as you mentioned it. It has this name, so it's a thing, right? It's
Yes,
and it's an event.
absolutely.
So it kind of just stands out.
And people
As,
look forward to it. People look
mm,
forward to, that training academy. You'll see even when people message us and even people when they do leave, they say, we learned so much from the car training academy. We'll take that away with us,
mm,
forever. So it has become a real success, for Cara. And it
yeah.
brings people together. It brings people to share ideas, share their journeys, share their
Mm,
experiences. And that enables for them to achieve greatness within their own care homes, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, I
it's
see.
it's fantastic for our teams.
And do you find there's particular topics or like questions? I guess it's kind of is something pertinent, perhaps the care and share with the CEO that you just talked about. Is there something that like you find continually crops up, something that needs to be attended to from either a training point of view or else that people are wanting to share with you?
Yeah, people like to share lots of things, and sometimes, as I said to you, when things get tough in the healthcare settings, it can become very heavy, it can
Mm,
become negative. So
yeah,
care and share initially started to be a lot about that negativity of this is not right, this is not correct.
yeah.
And we would put it right within 24 hours, and then they'd
Mm,
be really, really happy. And now care and share has all become about that optimism, about that positivity. People are coming to tell us the great stories that their people in their care homes are doing. So quite often we'll turn up on a weekly basis and tell us how amazing their care staff was and how they went above and beyond, their
mm,
care of duty. So as I said to you, that positivity, it's not naive. It's, as I say, it's very, very powerful.
mm,
Those setbacks become comebacks. So, it really enables other people to become positive and share their positive stories. So what we've
mm,
really turned around, and you'll see most of our posts, most of the things that we do is very positive because it doesn't matter how negative a situation is, there's got to be a positive element, to that negative
mm.
situation. So we try and go find that, and then we build on that positivity to eliminate the negativity. And it sounds like we're just using words, but that's truly actually what happens within our care homes
Mm,
and within
mm,
our care and share meetings. And
mm,
then people feel inspired and empowered. New people come
mm,
along and they see what we do. They feel like, wow, this is amazing, and they
mm,
go away with positive thoughts, wanting to achieve amazing things, as opposed to that it's doom and gloom for the healthcare or care home industry. It's a thriving industry. The only way we're going to get people to invest, for people to come and work for us, for people to come and live with us, is by showing how great we are doing within care homes, the amazing work that our people are doing within care homes. So for me, it's always about showing the amazing stories that, our carers do, our
mm,
people do,
mm,
within care
mm.
homes.
That's great, thank you. And one of the things we were talking about at the top of the show was, yeah, and you kind of just alluded to this, the positive elements for your care culture the academy has. But you were talking about the commercial success as well as a provider. So maybe just talk about a little bit more about that.
Yeah, for Cara, the care and commercial successes are two sides of the same coin, right? Excellent care leads to trust, trust drives occupancy, and occupancy sustains financial health.
Mm,
So we run a model where every pound that's saved through efficiency is reinvested into staff training, resident well-being, home improvements. So our financial discipline allows us to innovate without cutting any particular corners. And for us, that key is transparency. So every manager understands the business side of care. And again, that's trained within Cara Training Academy.
oh
We
yeah.
come across so many managers that join Cara from big organizations and large organizations say we've never been taught about finances, and how that links to how the business side links to outcomes. That alignment between purpose and performance is what keeps us strong and sustainable. So
Mm.
it's really important, that we again train this within our Carter Training Academy. But we see it as two sides of the same coin. The care and commercial successes are literally two sides of the same coin.
Mm, yeah, very interesting. Okay, well, we've covered a lot here, and just one final question from me. Again, you kind of alluded to throughout this episode is the culture of positivity, and you've mentioned that a number of times. I love this idea of weeding out the negatives, and because yeah, as you say, if you have a negative that grows, will grow quickly,
Yes,
and for every, and we know how important that is for every single care home provider.
absolutely.
Is to knock that on the head as soon as it's spotted by the ways that you just talked about. So, my final question on this is that essentially this training program helps feed into that culture of positivity, which is so important as a way of working, a philosophy to embed into your provider.
Yes.
Is that a fair? Is there anything particularly you would like to add to that?
Yeah, sure. No, look, it is all about that, and that's really what's enabled us to achieve our amazing achievements that we
Mm,
keep shouting about. And why do we keep shouting about it? It's not just about the titles, the trophies, the awards, or the turnaround, but it is about our people, their belief, their growth, their stories. So, that's what we're about. That's what really Kara is about. People buy into people, not buildings.
mm,
Not glossy brochures, or great websites. So for our training academy has been the purpose of absolutely everything we can possibly imagine. We turn those homes around, not just financially, but operationally and emotionally. Sometimes it hasn't been easy, but we say those challenges become opportunities for growth and improvement, right?
mm,
And what we have proved is, that belief, the courage, the consistency, the impossibles become the inevitable. And we've done it, time and time again. For where we're at Kara, for
mm,
us, we believe that later life is for living, you know,
mm,
and
mm,
leadership is for lifting. For every home, we build, for every person we empower, for every story that we
mm,
honor, is proof that when you have that belief, the courage that anything is possible, you can achieve those that even you didn't think that was possible, as I said earlier. I always say to people this, and this is something we teach at the academy as well, is that people will forget, what you said. People will also forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And
mm,
for me, that is the heart of Kara. And, that's what
mm.
makes me so proud to be a part of this journey and part of the people's journey. And
Yeah.
that's why the Kara Academy is so central to our success in every aspect, whether it comes to occupancy, building new homes, building our
Mm,
people,
mm,
building trust within Kara, and turning homes around. It sits
mm.
within the center, of our organization.
My final question on this is that so if anyone's listening and they think, well, that sounds a good idea, I need to step up on this within my own care home provider. What's the first step they need to take?
I would say to people, this is well worth the investment. We see other care providers now, doing exactly the same thing, looking for people, to head their training academies, or they're creating very similar things, just with different names.
Mm,
And I feel it's great for the sector because carers need that level of training. Remember, they'll be providing the care of tomorrow, the care that you and I will need. So it's vitally important
mm,
we provide that training across the sector to absolutely everybody. It doesn't have to be big, it could be extremely small. Quite often, we
mm,
think we can't take our managers out of care homes,
mm,
and it's a 7 till 7 or 8 to 8 role. But when you do it once, you realize that the home still exists, the staff are all okay, the staff are further empowered. We can take people out of care homes.
mm,
Many people within the care home environment, you don't achieve as much by taking them out of the
mm,
environment
mm,
and training them in different aspects. So
mm,
I
mm,
remember that training is not just about your day-to-day training, mandatory training that we talk about in care homes, because
mm,
that happens in any case. It is about uplifting and inspiring our people in many different areas and empowering
mm,
them to run fabulous homes. So I would say to people, don't be afraid. There is a
mm,
cost element, but you'll definitely see a far greater return by investing into
mm.
the training academy.
That's fabulous. So, Nitesh, is there anything that you just want to add that perhaps you've missed up to now?
No, I believe that's it. I'm really pleased that we've covered the Chikaro Training Academy. I haven't done any podcasts that specifically covered just the Training Academy, but it's so close to us that we believe so
Mm,
much that it's achieved so much for us that we want to shout out about it. So I want to thank
mm.
you for the opportunity to come on here and really talk about it, and talk about what it's achieved for us. So yeah, thank you so much, Adam, and to Spring Up PR for organizing all of this.
Nitesh, thank you very much for being our guest on the KSCO Success Stories podcast.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Adam. Thank you.